This video is talking about the light board, the physical ion light board that's in the Jochum room. So let's get started. There might be a case on it, which would be great, honestly, to keep some dust off of it. So you open this thing up and you're going to find the light board. Turning it on means pressing this button right here. There's actually another power button on the back here. That should always stay on, a switch. This button here will be enough to turn the light board on. Kaboom, it's going to light up and it'll take a second to load. These are touch screen monitors, just so you know, and a lot of these faders are sort of assignable and they change depending on the way things go. Now, understand one thing, I'll talk about this in this video just because it happened in a show recently. The way that the light information goes is it leaves this board, it runs through a loop that goes to all the wall stations around here on the side doors, down on stage, and over here behind me. And then it comes back out underneath us right here, and it goes to this wireless transmitter, which is, it's too dark to see, I think, right now, but that wireless transmitter goes up top to things like that. I don't know how well you can see it, but if you look up on these mega battens, which are the things that hold the lights, you'll see like a blue, red, and green thing. If those are ever flashing, it means it's not receiving the wireless signal. And somebody on a show recently had turned off the power to that transmitter, and all of these things went off, and they didn't know why. It was just a matter of turning it back on. But that's something that does happen. Now, all these wall switches have a little green light on them. That means that they're active. Oops, I just turned off the lights in here. That means that they're active. When this board's actually on, it'll take over and this will turn red. And when they're red, it means they are basically asleep. Now, why hasn't that happened yet? There's something wrong with this board. I've talked about it in a few videos. Come forward with me. There's a cable in here. I'm going to unplug this cable. This is the DMX cable that sends all the information. And I'm going to plug this cable back in one more time. And now you can tell that the lights have changed on the stage. And these buttons over here have come to red. They're disabled at the moment. So we're going to talk just very briefly about a couple things on this screen. I am not a lighting guy. I don't know this stuff actually all that well. But you've got a triangle twirly over here on the right. Max, can you see that pretty well? So this is where all your file menu type stuff is. And if you want to come into File, we're going to go to Open, and we're going to look at some files in here. And we're going to look at the base patch. And if I go to the base patch and I load it up, it's going to say, do I really want to open this file? And I can say, hey, which things do I want to load? I'm going to say, okay, that's fine. Now I've loaded up a base file. Now this file should have all of the right addressing to all of the channels off the bat, but right now I don't know that it does. So we're going to go to the most recent show that was done here, which at this point is Hello Dolly. It was the scene we were just in. Now a scene is loaded. Now you might see, back on up for a second, you might see very different things than what I'm seeing on these screens. That's okay. These are very customizable and there's a ton to it. If you look down at the bottom here, there's these tabs. And if I click on a tab, it's going to give me a list of all the possible things that I can look through. And one of them, you might want to look and load some cues up. And that would be for doing like a drama show. I can load up this thing called a magic sheet, which already is loaded actually. That's over here. This magic sheet has like a visual representation of some things. Or I can load up all kinds of other things, the patching and whatever else I need to. So I've got lots of options for tabs, and I can go back and forth between tabs here. Controlling lights is a matter of selecting channels. So for our purposes, I can go over to this live summary channel, and these are all the individual channels that represent lights inside of the board. And if I wanted to take a light fixture and change its intensity, I could select it. So let's select something that I suspect is going to be all right. So I'm going to go and select a number of these lights. And then I'm going to use this wheel right here, and I'm going to fade this up. And you can see some lights just appeared on the stage. So I just took the intensity up and down on this. So that's how you would turn a light up or down in here. Now what light controls what? And that is very dependent on the show. So where they have things plugged in, there's some house lights. You may see on these things right here on the base patch, some faders that say, hey, house lights, or or like stage look or other things like that. And you could use these faders sort of like you use a soundboard to mix. There's nothing loaded into this Hello Dolly show, but on the bass patch, I suspect that there will be some faders that are helpful for you. A couple of important numbers to note. Down here, I use the scroll wheel on the mouse to get down here, by the way. Down here, I've got 501, 502, 503. These are house lights here. Oh, let's talk one more thing. Down at the bottom, there's this command line, and you can see it still says channel 70 through 74. That's what I clicked on the other screen. Come over to this button here. In the middle of these, there's a button that says clear. I'm going to hit clear, and now it gets rid of those command lines. We want to do that so that we know we're working with something fresh. Now I can click on a couple of these cells. I'm in the live patch summary. This is tab 1. And I've got those selected, and I can turn these up. And what I'm doing is adjusting the house lights. So 501 and 502 are the house and split into 2 parts. 503 is the house that looks over the top of the center of the screen or the top of the proscenium. 504 belongs to the stair lights. 505 are these wall sconces. 506 and 507 belong to the orchestra pit, I believe. And then 59 and 510 are special ones. One of them is for hot patching. You shouldn't have to touch that one. And 510 is one that's a dummy scene that helps us use the switch. But there's a lot to this kind of thing. There's tons of amazing videos on the Ion series that the ETC company has put out. You should watch those if you're using the light board. I just want to give you some basic understanding of what you're doing. You're loading up a scene, a file. You're going to select the fixtures that you want, and then you're using a knob to turn them up or down. There's a whole lot of keyboard control that can happen as well, but that's what you do. When you're done, we're going to hit the twirly triangle here on the bottom right. Make sure it's open. Maybe it already is open. And this is how you can get out of here. Here we can choose exit, or we can say device power off. And it says, do you really want to power off the device? I'm going to hit OK. Now this thing is going to start shutting down. And when it does, it already did, this has come back to green and all these wall switches are live again. So the light board there's a ton it can do. It is complicated. You can change colors with things, and you're going to have to watch some videos or talk to somebody who does it a little bit more than me to learn how. But it's just a couple basics for you.